You're listening to the Night Demon Network. Go to nightdemon.net/subscriber to unlock more exclusive content.
Hello and welcome to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. I'm your host Nesbit, and hot off the heels of their Australian tour, Night Demon heads to China to play the Flaming Metal Festival with Cirith Ungol. This is Night Demon China.
So the following morning, I wake up and I get a message from Carl. Yeah, a Chinese guy named Carl, pretty funny. A guy I had known before. His band was opening. Well, he was in one of the opening bands, and he worked with the promoter and stuff like that. And so he, those guys, him and the promoter, him and some buddies, they wanted to take the bands to lunch. And I thought that was awesome. They had booked like a very formal Chinese meal at a restaurant up the street. Like a traditional Chinese meal with like the Lazy Susan in the middle of this big table. Well, anyway, I'll just say I was pretty excited about it. And the thing is that Brian, Armand, and Laura all got pretty sick. And then Tim and Rob were still dealing with their sickness a bit, but Tim and Rob ended up coming with me. I said, like, somebody's got to come to this lunch with me, you know? So they ended up coming. It was just the three of us. So
Chen had told us, tomorrow there was a big lunch planned for everybody. They're going to take us out to this fancy restaurant, have a big lunch. Traditional sort of lunch thing. Well, I woke up the next day still feeling like shit. I decided to stay back in the hotel and just try to sleep it off. As again, we weren't going to the venue till like 3 or 4. So I missed out on this lunch, which I heard was pretty amazing.
We walked down, I don't know, about half a mile to this. Chen takes us to this restaurant, and I think it was, 11 in the morning. It was extremely hot during the day, and I was like, wow, man, this is pretty intense. And they're like, yeah, this is not as bad as it gets. So we get to the restaurant. Like I said, it was super nice. They had like a private room rented and ordered just everything you can imagine. And, we all love Chinese food, so it was really our first Chinese food experience in China was incredible. Having this, and these, and everybody brought all their records and had a ton of stuff for us to sign. So it was really nice to do that and to visit with them and get to know these guys. We had an amazing lunch. After that, we went back to the hotel. We were going to go to the hotel for, an hour or so before we had to go to the sound check. And it was pretty. It had gotten hotter at this point. So Chen ordered us a taxi to go half a mile, and he's like, "Yeah, no problem, no problem." And then he walked back. So at that point, we got to the hotel for a little bit. Everybody packed up their stuff, and he called a couple cars to take us to the venue, which wasn't far. And again, it's interesting, like Beijing is such a big city, and they talk about so many, how populated China is. It never looked like the streets were overcrowded at any given time. And that was very interesting to me. I wonder if people just stay inside or what. But again, just completely opposite of what you would think that it would be there. In a very good way.
Getting to the venue was cool. It was, again, like a really nice, kind of a new place, with, really high-end gear. They had a couple of Marshall stacks, nice set of Yamaha drums. Whether or not the Marshalls were real or not, I don't know, but they seemed real enough. Yeah, and I was just trying to kind of like keep myself together because, I was trying not to let this sickness get the best of me.
So we went to the show and did a sound check and set everything up. Had to get through some stuff. I mean, Chen is a great interpreter, but there was some language barrier stuff with some of the local crew. But we worked it out, and it really was no problem. I think I was feeling a bit tired that day, but it was okay. We worked everything out.
Yeah, setting up and doing sound check was interesting. It was a bit hard to communicate, to explain to the guys about our in-ear monitor rig and how that worked and what we needed plugged into it and all that stuff. It definitely took a while of back and forth. Chen was trying to translate for us, and we were trying to communicate with these guys, and it was a bit of a funny situation, but eventually we got it all figured out and set up and, had a good sound check.
The show was billed as Flaming Metal Festival. So there were a couple of other bands, and then Night Demon and Cirith Ungol. And it was really cool to see just the excitement that there was for the guys coming in. They did a sign-in session beforehand in the main venue. So they put a table like on the floor of the venue, and then people queued up and waited really patiently. And honestly, I think looking at the numbers that night, I think probably everybody who came to the show that night queued up earlier on and brought all their gear and got it all signed. So that was really cool to see. They all got pictures, and just people were really buzzing to see the boys.
When we got there was a ton of people, hundreds of people lined up outside. And so basically they put on this show. They called it the Flaming Metal Fest. And I'm not sure. I mean, it was 4 bands. I guess it's a festival. I don't know. I think they've used this name, like they do this once or twice a year, which is pretty cool. And anyway, Cirith Ungol, Night Demon, a band called Dinkumoil, which was that guy Carl who I mentioned before, and Hell Ward, which was the main promoter. I mean, he was the singer of that band. So it was at a venue called Live House in Beijing. Cool venue, really professional. They set up in a signing session, like an autograph session before a couple hours before the doors, and like basically everybody that bought a ticket to the show came to the signing session, and a lot of people had records and stuff. So you never know, right? There's always potential to get new fans or people that are into metal to just come out to see you because they heard something about you, or they're being told it's some American bands are coming. But, after going there, I would definitely say, yes, people in China do, our bands do have a following in China. Well, I'll start with the openers. So like Dinkumoil, I think that's how you pronounce it. They went on, they were super awesome. These guys were playing like obscure new wave of British heavy metal covers. That's what their set comprised of. So right away, I was just like, this is amazing. I think I might have heard like Dark Star, Lady of Mars, some Angel Witch stuff, Demon, like really just obscure stuff that we love. I think they covered an Ashberry song too. It was Manila Road. It was pretty awesome. It was cool to see those guys. Hell Ward, they were a much more aggressive kind of 3-piece band. But they had some classic heavy metal elements too. And like I said, the singer, he was the front man of that band. So, I mean, the promoter was the singer and front man of that band.
Again, I wasn't sure what the turnout was going to be, what the audience reaction was going to be. I remember being backstage and I was trying to string up my guitar. I had 2 guitars with me. One was, I had a new guitar made by some great people down in Mexico called Polychrome Guitars. They made me a new custom Flying V with the Cirith Ungol logo on it that I wanted to use specifically for their shows. Jarvis also had his new bass from Jailbreak, his Cirith Ungol model. They're both kind of a natural finish, kind of based off of the old school like Corina Flying V's. Jerry Fogel, the original guitar player for Ungol, used an Ibanez copy of a 58 Flying V that had that look. So it was kind of like a tribute to that. So I remember I was backstage, I was restringing it, and I was just having the hardest time. I really wasn't feeling that well. And there was something with the bridge mechanics that just, I don't know, I was just really struggling, changing the strings, and it was getting close to showtime, and it was just kind of a frustrating day, It's like when you don't feel well, any kind of shit that happens like that just gets enhanced, and it's like, man, this fucking sucks. Whatever. I got through it. I did the shit.
so yeah, then we did the Night Demon set, and it was our typical support set list for Cirith Ungol, and it was great. I mean, I just remember putting out a lot of energy and just having the show was sold out, which was great, and people just going off, like you would hope, but a genuine excitement from people was amazing.
Yeah, it went pretty good. The place was fucking packed, man. And, you know, you hear stories like, especially like Japan, like, oh, the audiences are very subdued and they're very polite, and, you know, they don't really go nuts or anything, but that was never the case, especially for when we were there. And also in China, people were going off, loving it.
The lights that night, that show was one of the hardest that I've ever done. So it was, I think, a board that I've used a ton of times, but these boards are very customizable. So everyone sets them up completely differently. And every label on that screen was in Chinese. And like not there was not like an English letter on there at all. So normally, even if something is in a different French or German or something, you can kind of hazard a guess. With this, nothing. I didn't have a clue. Chen, who's our buddy, our helper guy, really, really good English. But sometimes when you're asking for not technical things as such, but just stuff that, why would you know the word for it? Things like strobe and spots and haze, and it's not the type of thing that interpreters are generally going to know, and why should they? On top of that, this is when I started feeling really ill, really, really bad. Like, I have limited time to learn this lighting board, and I'm trying to do it all by myself, and I don't have my nose is just like running like a faucet. I just need to lie down. I'm going to collapse. I had to be hyper focused that night just to fight through the sickness and to work through the language problems with the board to deliver a show. So I was very fixated, working really hard, and we're getting towards the end of the set. The boys are playing their hearts out. The crowd absolutely love them. And then I realized something. I'm late. Normally, when the chalice is going to be coming on, whoever is playing Rocky is backstage getting ready. Usually kind of 2 songs before, because it takes a couple of minutes to put that costume on right. We had roped in Chen, so he was going to play Rocky. And earlier that day, I had kind of talked him through the process of, what order the costume goes on, how to light the eyes and all that stuff. But I said that I would come back kind of 2 songs before and help him get ready. Just being sort of feverish and out of my mind, and again, just hyper fixated on actually running this light show. It was literally the opening bars of the chalice where I realized, fuck, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be back there. And thinking back on it now, I think Jarvis was able to see me at the board, and I think he was mouthing something like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, go, go, go. So, yeah, the poor lighting guy beside me, I think I did some frantic hand gestures about, you, take over, please. And I pushed my way through the crowd. It was really full house, and I had to race back there. And behind the stage, so the chalice is actually playing at this stage. There's seconds until Rocky's supposed to be out there. I race back there. I can't see Chen, so I start throwing this costume on. A few seconds later, Chen shows up, and I just slam everything on him, the poor guy. And you can't really see through the Rocky mask at the best of times. So I don't know if Chen could see anything at all. I think sometimes too, the lights, those LEDs can turn different colors. So you need to really check that they're both set to red and they're staying on red. So I dressed him in 10 seconds flat, and I just shoved this poor little guy up onto that stage. I think his hood fell off, his eyes were turning different colours, and I think he only got out there maybe for the second chorus, I don't know. So I really messed up on that one, but I guess that's rock and roll.
So did the Night Demon set, went backstage, tried to kind of take a little break before switching over for Cirith Ungol. Yeah, and then people really, really went off when Cirith started.
So this is Beijing. We are so glad to be here tonight. Thank you for inviting us. It's been a really long time. We should have been here a long time ago, but we're here tonight. You're here tonight. I hope we're all going to have a good time tonight. We are Cirith Ungol, and we're here for Blood and Iron.
Pretty sure nobody over there had ever imagined either one of our bands playing there. So that was really cool. I remember playing the riff to Frost and Fire and looking out and seeing a girl in the crowd crying. So that was pretty emotional, pretty touching. I really felt that moment, man. That was really cool. played a really good gig, and I felt really good about everything that night. You know, it's like every time I play with those guys, I get more comfortable with everything and the solos, and, you know, it's a little bit more of a challenge because there's a little bit more freedom for improvisation, because a lot of the solos are a lot longer than stuff I would do like normally with Night Demon, that are pretty thought out, and, you know, I wrote the parts, so I know them that well. But, you know, learning the Cirith Ungol stuff, especially, you know, two guitar players later, you know, I try to really study sort of Jerry's style, especially on the older stuff, to try to cop that feel and, like, you know, give it the justice. I'm not trying to make it my own. I'm trying to, you know, do a tribute to the past guitar players in the band, you know. But I mean, I would say that not giving it my own, but I still do put a little bit of my own flavor into it. But yeah, real great moments on stage, and that was it, man. The show was really good.
But it was cool. We had a little gathering backstage after the show with a few fans that we didn't meet before the show, and it was an amazing night. It was something where it's like, man, I wish we would have actually had time to do a tour of China, but we will go back. I believe 2026 Night Demon's gonna plan to go back and do 5 or 6 shows in China and maybe Southeast Asia. It would be amazing.
Remember backstage after the show, they had brought us some special Chinese liquor, some kind of stuff. Shit was like fire water, man. Real nice decorative box, real nice gifts. Unfortunately, we really had nowhere to put that stuff, so we had to leave it behind, sadly. But next time I'll make sure to bring an extra bag or something to bring back all kinds of good, cool swag and shit like that if we ever make it back there. I think we will.
The following day, we had to go to the airport and catch a plane to Sweden. This time we got to actually spend some time in the airport, and it was during the day, and it was beautiful. It was an amazing, amazing experience, and they had like little grocery store in there. Like the price of the food was great. The quality of things there were awesome. You know, massage chairs in the airport. They had actually a Chinese garden in the middle of the terminal that you can walk outside and walk through this beautiful garden. It was incredible. Like, it was anything that I ever heard about China. I don't even know. It's, you know, I don't know. Maybe I need to travel the country more, and I fully plan on it. But it was an incredible experience. And I know, like, the older guys in Cirith Ungol had some trepidation about going to China, because these guys are freaking glued to the major news networks of the USA. And they're constantly watching this stuff and being fed this bullshit narrative, you know, and over dramatization of anything else going on in the world. It's fear mongering, and it's some form of disgusting entertainment, really. There's not a lot of truth to any of that stuff that those people say. But, you know, that's kind of what they're worried about, you know, getting COVID or dying, or, you know, just some crazy shit, getting arrested or thrown in prison and never returning home. I mean, stuff doesn't happen to normal people. But anyway, those guys walked away from the experience completely changed and just really, really, really enjoying everything that China had and its people had to offer. And I'll say that everybody we met seemed very happy. Nobody complained about their experience being Chinese or living in China, not one bit. So it was awesome, and I'm very excited to return.
Well, that's it for this week and Night Demon in China. Sounds like not their last show there. In the subscriber section, we have the live Night Demon set, also video of the show. As always, I'll mention that in the subscriber section on nightdemon.net, we have hours and hours of videos, live audio, demos, alternate takes of songs, bonus episodes, all kinds of stuff, going right back to the first ever Night Demon show. So all of that is available on nightdemon.net. Check out the site and see how you can become a subscriber and gain access to all of that bonus content. Until next time, this is Nesbitt signing off.
Drink from the chalice, the unholy greenhouse. Drink from the chalice, will give you everlasting life. Thank you, Las Vegas. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Thanks for listening to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. Head over to nightdemon.net, click on the subscriber tab, and sign up to access exclusive weekly bonus content. If you would like to donate to support the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast, you can do so through PayPal at paypal.me/nightdemonmetal. Additionally, if you have not already done so, please subscribe, like, rate, and review the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All hail, Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. This is Dusty Squires chiming in to tell you about my brand new signature sticks from the London Drumstick Company. I've dreamt of having my very own drumsticks ever since I was a wee lad, and LDC made that a possibility for me. Founded in 2016 in London, England, the birthplace of heavy metal, the London Drumstick Company has trailblazed a path through the music industry and taken the drummer world by storm. When I met them for the first time, they knew their product was going to withstand the beatings of a Night Demon show. They took the time to work with me on getting everything just right. The balance and weight of my sticks are the same no matter what, and the durability is bar none the best I've ever had. I know my sticks will last through the set night after night. I'm truly honored to work with a company that caters to their players the way LDC does. Their innovation and attention to detail is what separates them from the rest of the stick makers out there. Their custom stick sleeves are unbelievable and really make the entire presentation complete. Wait until you see the design they came up with for me. It blew my mind and was a surprise to say the least. They have all kinds of amazing swag, including hoodies, t-shirts, drummer shorts, drum keys, stick bags, towels, face masks, practice pads, and much, much more. Even if you're not a drummer, you can be a part of Demon history and order my brand new signature sticks direct from their website. How cool is that? And to top it off, the London Drumstick Company are giving an exclusive offer to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. Go to londondrumsticks.co.uk and receive a 15% store-wide discount using promo code DEMONSTICKS. All capital letters, no spaces, Demon Sticks. DEMONSTICKS. I can't thank everyone there enough for the opportunity to be a part of their family and for them trusting me with their amazing products. See you metal maniacs on the road very soon. And yes, the wood chips will be flying.
Greetings, boils and ghouls. This is your comrade, the Crypt Keeper here, reporting dead from the sanctuary of the strange. Tonight's macabre myth is a fright-filled feature, one overflowing with monsters, madness, and magic.
Visit our website at monstersmadnessandmagic.com to to stay up to date on all the dark dealings within the sanctuary of the strange. Enjoy the show.
Hey Metalheads, I'm Mark and I host the Metal Forge. Let me tell you about the show. The Metal Forge features the best underground metal from all over the world. We spend every week with a different artist with interviews, in-depth conversations, and most of all, the music. We also feature audience interactivity where you can submit your questions to the upcoming guests. New episodes are out every Friday at noon Eastern Time at metalforgeradio.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking podcast, a non-genre based, all ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
Okay, metalheads, you've been complaining that there has not been a channel that plays all of the heavy metal videos from past, present, and future for years and years at this point. Well, that time is over. Heavy Metal Television is back. HeavyMetalTelevision.net is the website. Go there. You can see videos playing 24/7, 365, all the time, all the best from the old school, the new school, and everything in between. Check it out, HeavyMetalTelevision.net. It is where the metal is.